Hello, family. I hope you are feeling blessed and doing well. Welcome back to the Sageology Podcast, period. And today we will be discussing this week's Sage Report starting off Monday, September 11th through Sunday, September 17th, where I, Sage, will be going over the transits and kind of breaking down and discussing the transits that we will be experiencing on those days, explaining the astrology of the week. And I also do pull an oracle card for every day of the week just to kind of further elaborate on that energy and kind of pick up on intuitive guidance that goes along with the astrology. So starting off on Monday, just to give a quick refresher of where all the planets are. The sun, of course, is in Virgo, and we have Mercury retrograding in Virgo. The moon will be in Leo along with Venus. Mars is in Libra. Pluto is in Capricorn. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces as well as Neptune. And we have Jupiter retrograde in Taurus along with Uranus. So kicking off on Monday. Monday is a pretty chill day. I actually really like the astrology of Monday. I feel like it's going to feel really good. I feel like it's going to feel like a really good day. But what happens Monday and what you feel Monday could honestly foreshadow what you feel Sunday and how you feel later in the week, especially leading up to the new moon that we will talk about when we get there. But Monday, we are going to have the moon sextile Mars. The moon is also going to conjunct Venus in Leo, and then the moon is going to square Jupiter in Taurus. So the moon is with a direct Venus, right? Venus had went retrograde through the sign of Leo early in the summer, and now she's direct in the sign of Leo. Right? So Venus in Leo direct is really about like feeling good, looking good, our desires, what we want, validation, praise. This is kind of what that is centered around, right? So Venus going retrograde through Leo, I felt like a lot of people had to reconcile about their desires and their feelings of like self-worth and what they really want and what they feel worthy of having. So hopefully, those Venus is still in shadow, but hopefully, kind of picked up on those lessons during the retrograde. So now people should be feeling like more confident and more secure about their desires, their needs, and their wants, or at least kind of having a feeling of, all right, yeah, my confidence is restored. I want this and I know I deserve this, right? But the moon is square Jupiter as well. So I do feel like this is also calling us to kind of get out of our comfort zone and be more in the moment, right? Because Jupiter is retrograde and he's in Taurus. So Taurus, fixed signs in general could kind of be like too steadfast almost. So it's kind of like, okay, you got to shake it up a little bit. So yeah, I want this. Yeah, I desire this, but I'm not going to achieve a new goal by doing the same thing that I've always been doing. And I also do feel like Monday is just a good day to embrace divinity and just remember what it means to be divine. I do feel like this is a theme that's going on throughout the week, and you may hear me kind of talk about this a little bit more. But God is divine, and it feels good to be divine. It feels good to look good, And it's like, even if your faith is being tested, right? Because Jupiter is retrograde. Even if you can't get all of your desires immediately, even if it may seem like, okay, this may be harder than expected, or okay, I'm still experiencing these challenges. Okay, I'm still experiencing these hardships, but I still have this inherent desire. I still have this inherent want, definitely still go after it, even if it feels like unattainable or unrealistic. Reside and rest in that feeling. Like, reside and rest in your faith. Reside and rest in what feels good, reside and rest in what feels good. So even if you may be like, I want to redo my whole wardrobe and throw out all my old clothes and buy like all new clothes, And even if you can't, let's say you don't have the budget to revamp your entire wardrobe, like, go thrifting and ramp up some thrift clothes and make the thrift clothes look good, or do your makeup. You get what I'm saying? Or make yourself like feel good. I do feel like a part of this transit is just about resting in your desires, resting in what feels good. But you may have to get thrifty with it. You may have to be ingenuitive with it, because again, Jupiter is still retrograde, so it's not going to be like a direct, here, give it to you. And it also is a square relationship, so there's still like a little bit inherent conflict. But what can you do to honor yourself, right? Make your body your temple. Treat your body like a temple. Feel good in the moment, Treat your body like a temple. Adorn your body like a temple. Remember that you are divine. No matter the external circumstances, no matter what goes up, no matter what you perceive, no matter whatever you may perceive as challenges may be presenting themselves, stay divine. So I like the card that we have for Monday. It says, bless your heart, friendship, appreciation, devotion, worthiness, caring, playful teasing. So I kind of feel like that's really everything that I just said. A good day with the moon and Leo being with Venus. I do think this is a good day to kind of spend with friends, prioritize friendship, like the card said. I do think that's beautiful. I do think that's good. But also devotion, worthiness, caring, again, like, devote to yourself, be devoted to yourself, like, learn how to be devoted to yourself, even devotion to yourself is self-care, or doing something for yourself, or doing something to like please yourself, doing something to make yourself feel good no matter what's going on, Some people have a ritual of making their bed every day. Some people have a ritual of like super elaborate skincare routines. Some people have a ritual of, like waxing their leg hairs. Whatever is your daily self ritual, whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel divine, rest in that. And soak in that feeling and embody that feeling. And if you do that this week, and honestly, if you do that with your life, I feel like it will take you a long way. My theme for Monday is remember. Remember that you are divine. So going into Tuesday, we will have the moon trine Chiron. And then we'll have the moon square Uranus. And then, yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about. But the moon trine Chiron, again, so I feel like the moon is in Leo. We're in this feel good state. This, we want attention. We want to be seen. We want to be validated. We want to look good. We want to get the compliments. We want to feel good. We want to be divine, right? But trine Chiron, so it's like, I feel good, but this. So it could be just highlighting different like traumas and insecurities or whatever, or doubts or general feelings of unworthiness, or it could just be a feeling, just a need of validation, or, oh my God, I did all of this. I thought that I looked so good, but nobody complimented me today. You have to go within yourself and find that own like validation within yourself. And then I also do feel like sometimes it could just not be us and how we feel. It could also be our external circumstances. So rather that is presented with, friends or family and how they treat you, or even like your boss or your coworkers, how they treat you, how they react to you, things that they may say about you, whatever, like again, like be willing to, check people and check your emotions. So if something does happen or transpire that doesn't make you feel good or triggers some sort of like trauma response in whatever sort of way, take that time to reflect on it. Take that time and think on it. Don't internalize it, but move forward. So the moon is square Uranus this day. So I do feel like this could be a change in mood, a change in desires. So rather something popped off with the moon and Chiron triggering sort of like a nasty emotion, right? And then you do the work, go within yourself and reaffirm yourself. So it could be like, I thought I needed this to make me feel good. I thought I wanted this to make me feel good, but you know what? I don't really need this to feel good, I don't really need to go and get a venti PSL every day in order to make me feel good, in order to make me feel validated, I don't really need that. Or maybe I don't really need to go to the mall and buy all these new clothes instead of to make me feel good. All I need to do is, again, like spruce up my thrifty clothes, or maybe invest in some new jewelry and put a spin on it and change my jewelry game up, or and that makes me feel better, so I do think that the moon square Uranus and Taurus could just be, okay, like I thought I wanted this, but I don't really want this, or my mood has changed, my desire to change. And this is no longer needed in order for me to feel good. So the card that we have for Tuesday is Sweet Tooth, Hankering, Temptation, Adorn, Intimacy, Proposal, Message for Love, but it came out in a reverse. So with this card coming out in a reverse again, I do feel like temptations, are gonna happen on Tuesday. It could even, maybe you may even feel tempted to do something that you shouldn't do, to like chase like endorphins or something like that. Rather you told yourself, okay, I'm taking a break from social media, but you can't stop opening up Instagram. Or you are like, all right, I'm not eating that much sugar this week, or I'm trying to like cut back on the fast food, but you end up in the McDonald's drive-thru, So check your temptations. Or even, I just thought of a perfect scenario. Even like, that toxic ex texts you and you was like, I'm not responding to their text. Like, I am not texting them back. This is not going to happen, right? And then they tell you that you look cute and you text them back because it made you what? Feel good, right? But no, that's that trying Chiron. Like, don't fall for that text, So I do feel like the temptations could come through this day. But again, going back to desire, what do you deserve? So even though, getting compliments from the toxic ex may make you feel good in a moment, or slurping down that McFlurry may make you feel good in a moment, but at the same time, like, what really are you doing to your body? That's gonna make you feel good in a moment, but that's not gonna make you feel good in 20 years when your knees I don't know why I'm being so goofy today. And that's not gonna make you feel good in 20 years when you get out the bed and your knees cracking, and that's not gonna make you feel good in a couple weeks when your ex do something stupid again and now you crying. So you want to weigh out, like, is it gonna make me feel good in a moment, or is this really for my divinity, for my higher self, for my greatest good? I feel like that's really what we're getting into, and that's really what we are contemplating on this day. So moving into Wednesday, okay, we're gearing up for the new moon. I actually really love this new moon, y'all. This is one of my favorite lunations that we have had thus far this year, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So Wednesday, the moon is going into Virgo, so that's gearing up for the Virgo new moon. But the moon is also going to oppose Saturn, and the moon is going to conjunct Mercury. So I really love this, that when the moon goes into Virgo, it's opposing Saturn and then conjuncting Mercury, because I feel like this is preparation for the new moon. So I do think that Wednesday, okay, the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, we're playing around with like our desires and what makes us feel good and embracing our divinity, right? Wednesday is the day to start getting serious. I think this is the day to really pay attention to how you feel, pay attention to where your mind wanders, pay attention to the scenarios, situations that come up in your life. Because I do think that if you pay attention on Wednesday, it will definitely give you the keys to understand and break down this new moon and what it means for you personally. And like I said, I love this new moon. I think it's a great new moon. So the moon going opposite Saturn, right? Getting clear on your wants and your desires versus responsibilities and what you actually need to do in order to bring those things into fruition. So Virgo is definitely wanting to kind of obsess the details. And every time I kid you not, y'all, every time the moon is in Virgo, like I be in a really cleaning mood. I be ready to like clean everything. But when I clean, that's some of my best thinking times. I love to just think when I'm cleaning. So when I clean it, I be thinking about, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, this is what I need to plan, this is what I need to do here. Or it's just like I really get into like a thinking, planning mode, So I do feel like that's kind of what we will be experiencing Wednesday. Maybe take the time to like go for a walk or do some cleaning. Whatever activity that allows your mind to kind of like relax and wonder. So just to see what comes up. And then again, Saturn is bringing sort of kind of like a responsibility piece to it, or creating a hierarchy of importance, right? So I need to do this, I need to do that, right? But also I can't not do this, because if I don't do this, there's going to be a certain grave consequences. So again, I've been talking about faith a lot. If you've been keeping up with my podcast, because we have Saturn retrograde in Pisces, which Saturn in Pisces is dealing with faith in general. But we also have Jupiter retrograde, which Jupiter going retrograde is also dealing with kind of like a test of faith. But Saturn, again, is responsibility and things that we need to do. But also right now I feel like all of these things are kind of interconnected, right? But with the Venus and Leo, desires, kind of like what we want, or Saturn and Pisces, like what's the highest calling of our life? And I feel like the highest calling of our life is always somewhat interconnected with our desires or with our purpose. I say that God doesn't give us these wants or give us these desires for no reason. I feel like if God puts it upon our heart to really want something, if God puts it upon our heart to really desire something, and then again, you got to check your ego, because you got to know where it's coming from. Is it truly your heart's desire, or is it something that you want because you've seen other people have, right? But I feel like our true desires, the true yearnings of our heart, we have them because it's most likely something God put upon our heart to have. It's a part of God's promise to us. So how we are going to go about getting it, how are we going to go about living in it? Saturn and Pisces, like how are we going to go about living in our highest purpose, achieving our higher purpose? So the moon going opposite that Saturn and Pisces, start thinking about that. What can you do? Moon in Virgo is good for assessing the details, creating an action plan. What can you do? What needs to be done for you to get into your higher purpose? Or what needs to be done? What responsibilities need to be taken care of in general? Or what responsibilities do you need to care now in a moment so you have more free time to tend to your hobbies, your goals, what makes you feel happy, your desires, or so you have more free time to chase and pursue your higher purpose. Whether your highest purpose is being the best mom you could possibly be and spending more time with your kid, or your higher purpose is coming up with a course, or writing a book, or inventing some sort of invention that's going to change the world. But you can't do these things, or you can't show up in your life the way that you want to show up, because you are boggled down with responsibilities, or you just simply boggled down being in a rat race, right? How are you going to reprioritize, reorganize your life to create more freedom, and to create the structures and place that gives you more freedom to go after what you really want? So this may sound repetitive if you've been listening to my podcast, but I'm going to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, because I truly want this for the collective. So this is also a good day for reflection. How I said, healing, journal prompts, it could bring about clarity. So if you do want to take this day to kind of do some shadow work, and then again, the moon is going to conjunct Mercury. I don't know if I mentioned that. But with the moon conjunct Mercury, it's kind of like just a clarity in thinking. And yes, Mercury still is retrograde, but Mercury is going to station direct on Friday. So at this point, Mercury is going to station direct in 2 days. So, but even though Mercury's retrograde in Virgo. So this is a perfect time for reflection, thinking about what you need to do, what you need to reassess, what you need to plan. The astrology is beautiful. It's perfecto. I love it. I love Wednesday. Take the time to be present, ground, be intuitive. Whether you need to clean so you could think. Well, I know cleaning for me personally helps me thinking. Go on that walk, sitting in silence, whatever. Wednesday is a good reflection day. So the card we have for Wednesday is, sweet as a Georgia peach. Kindness, tender care, charm, beauty, flirtation, delicious experience. So I love that. I feel like all the cards this week are so sweet. I feel like this is just nice, loving energy. I really like this week. And yeah, I think a lot of that is just with the benefics being in great signs, like Jupiter being in Taurus and Venus doing this thing in Leo, but it's direct now. And just, I like it. I'm here for it. And I'm here for this energy. I'm really here for this energy. And then again, too, that's just bringing to my thought that, again, we deserve to have, I feel like life should be an enjoyable experience. It's not always going to be enjoyable. We have our ups and downs that we go through. We have our challenges that we face, right? But at the end of the day, life should be an enjoyable experience, and we are divine beings. We are divine creatures, and we deserve to have kindness and tender care and charm and beauty and flirtation and delicious experiences. We all deserve that. So how can you rearrange your life to get to that? And a lot of times it's a lot of we make excuses for ourselves, right? But again, I feel like if you really want something, there's nothing that's gonna stop you to get it. But again, it's about what are you prioritizing? What is your time management? So many people say, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. Bullshit. You have time for it. You're just prioritizing bullshit. Or people say, oh, I don't have time to work out. You do have to create the time. Make the time. If it's a priority for you, then make the time for it. You can make the time for. So what do you need to do to rearrange your life, to rearrange your priorities, to handle your responsibilities, right? To get those things on autopilot. Come up with a plan so you could have more delicious experiences. We have to create time for that. You're not gonna have a delicious experience if you don't have your responsibilities in order, or if your life is a wreck. So I do love like this transition, this Virgo new moon, just for a focus. And I love this Mercury retrograde in general, just for a focus of clarity, especially with this Mercury retrograde opposing Saturn. Like, I feel like it's beautiful. I love this. But just get a moment of clarity. Like, what do you need to do to get your life together, girl? Or man, whatever. Girl is gender neutral on this podcast. But what do you need to do in order to get your life together, okay? What do you need to do? Because you just can't be over here frolicking in the woods if you got bills to pay. So get it together, create those structures, get that on autopilot, embrace discipline. I really wish I knew this quote. I have to find it, but it's like, something about discipline is the highest form of self-care, right? I think that's a quote. Discipline is the highest form of self-care. But the beauty about discipline is that if you are disciplined, it creates more moments of luxury. So embrace that discipline. What discipline do you need so you can have delicious experiences? And I just got a channel message, but you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing. I'ma just, yeah. Let's just go on into Thursday. If you listen to this podcast and you really want to know what I just channeled, DM me on Instagram and I'll tell you. Or if enough people ask me on Instagram, I'll let you know. But anyways, Thursday, right? Thursday is new moon day. So, before we have the moon is going to trine Jupiter, and I do want to talk about the moon. The moon won't be trining Jupiter in like the chart of the actual lunation, but the moon is going to trine Jupiter before it conjuncts the sun. So I do want to talk about this real quick because I'm not going to talk about it when I break down the new moon. But I love that the moon is trining Jupiter because it's calling us to honestly be optimistic. And I think this new moon is such a good new moon. But again, I feel like it's somewhat centered around faith. And I think Jupiter is calling us to be optimistic or kind of look at things tending more so on a good side, tending towards the good side. Because Virgo can be honestly pessimistic and Virgo can be overly critical. So this is not something to like beat yourself up over, you know. This is not I didn't do this and I didn't do that and this is wrong with my life and that's wrong with my life and you know, and I made this mistake and I fucked up this day. Like no, that's not what we're going to do on this day. Okay, period. And this is taking place on Jupiter's day, on Thursday, Jupiter day. No, we're not doing that. We're going to give ourselves grace. We're going to be optimistic. And then again, we're going to be considering how can we strive for productive change, you know, how can we create those structures of ease and productivity? You know, that's what we're thinking about. That's what we're prioritizing. This is not to beat ourselves up. So I do love the trine that Jupiter that the moon is going to make to Jupiter before we get into this lunation. And again, I do feel like this is a beautiful blend of faith and also like concrete details, planning, and facts. So there's an area where like fact and faith can have a happy medium and blend in between. There's like this trend that people say like, oh, just be delusional. I'll just manifest everything by being delusional, by being completely delusional. Now, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I believe in like the being delusional low key. I do feel like manifesting by being delusional is good. Like sometimes you have to have that blind faith, especially depending on your circumstances. I'll tell y'all, I experienced some crazy stuff in my life, okay? I've experienced some crazy dark stuff in my life. And during that moment, I was completely delusional. Like, I didn't let any of the bad or negative things get to me because I was just completely delusional, Like, I was just completely grounded and centered in faith to the point where all the crazy negative stuff didn't even affect me. And it's like coming out of the situation, I definitely should have been affected way more than what I was, but I feel like I was able to come out of it. Now, there's a lot of emotional processing and things that I had to do, but I was able to come out of it somewhat almost like unscathed, or at least like if I knew I was to go through the same situation in a different phase of my life, like I would have been broken, but I wasn't broken because I was somewhat delusional and I had blind faith. So I do believe in the being delusional to a certain extent, because sometimes the facts aren't going to change and the facts aren't going nowhere, and you have to have a plan. Like I hear my dad in my head right now, like, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? Because like my father is so like centered on like having a plan. So sometimes you have to have a plan. So yeah, you could be delusional. And here's the thing, like, God will meet us halfway. So you may have no idea how what you want is going to actually pay off, right? But you're like, okay, I don't know how this is going to pay off, God, but I'm going to do what you tell me to do, and I'm going to just keep working at this plan. So this is what I want. This is my plan. Logically thinking, like, I won't be able to obtain this for however many years, but I'm gonna just keep at my plan, and I'm gonna leave room for miracles. Have a plan. There we go. We got it. Have a plan, right? But leave room for miracles. So Thursday, that's where we at. Day of the new moon, okay? Before the new moon happens, the moon is going to trine Jupiter, which I just discussed. Lovely, beautiful transit. Okay, good. Right? But also Friday, let's talk about tomorrow real quick. Friday, Mercury is going to station direct. So we're having this new moon before Mercury stations direct, which I think again is beautiful. So I said all that to say that you cannot analyze your way out of everything. Seeking clarity, it's important to seek clarity for a new direction and assessing the details, but don't depend solely on the details, right? So this new moon, like, we're being mercurial, is Virgo, right? So we are assessing the details, right? We're seeking clarity for a new direction, for change, for new initiations, for new things that we want to bring about in our life. It's new moon, right? So, but Mercury is still retrograde. So it's like we may not, and then again, like, we may not have all the answers. We may not know how this is going to pay off. We may not know how everything is going to go about, but that's where the faith comes in. But still have a plan. But still have a plan. Have a plan, but leave room for faith. All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into this new moon, y'all. So I don't feel like there's a lot of transits going on this new moon, and there's not a lot of transits that the moon is making during this lunation, except for its trine to Uranus. But so the transits that I do want to talk about during this new moon is Venus squared Jupiter. Venus is going to be squaring Jupiter during this new moon, but it isn't going to go exact until Sunday. But we have Venus squared Jupiter, right? But we go feel it during this lunation. And then Venus is also sextile Mars. And then the moon trine Uranus. So Venus square Jupiter. I think this is us still reconciling what you feel you deserve and your true desires, right? And just being honest with yourself about that. Like, take the time to be honest, and not what you think you deserve based off your circumstances, but what you feel you deserve and what you really want, your true desires. Because sometimes we lie to ourselves if we feel like something isn't obtainable, or we feel like we don't deserve this. A lot of times, like, again, Virgo, we could be our own harshest self-critic. We really can be. Rather, if you're having guilt from a past situation. So rather, you were young and you were in a really bad relationship and maybe you treated your ex like really shitty. You get what I'm saying? But now you're older, you want love and you're looking for love, and you are letting that past situation or experience hinder you from looking for the love that you truly desire. Because maybe you feel like you deserve bad karma or a shitty experience with love or something like that because of what you did in your past or whatever guilt or trauma you have. Like, heal that, okay? Jupiter retrograde. Now it's time to heal that. Heal it. Heal whatever feeling of lack or unworthiness that you have so you can reconcile your true desires. Reconcile, be honest with yourself about your true desires and what you really want. And this is also contending with faith and trusting that God will deliver. So Jupiter, I know that Jupiter being retrograde is a test of faith for some. So sometimes it could be like, okay, I'm sending up, like Jupiter is the planet of like luck and abundance or whatever. But think of like Jupiter being retrograde is kind of like Jupiter going to sleep. So you've seen like this progress, this luck happening in one part of your life, but now it's like God pressing snooze on your prayers. And you're like, whoa, God, hold up. Why are you snoozing my prayers? Like, that's what it could feel like. So even if it is a test of faith, like maybe a hiccup happened or this was going so good, but something just crazy happened and you like, fuck, what am I supposed to do? Like, I was making such good progress. Then this crazy thing happened. Like, what am I supposed to do now? So but it's about keeping the faith, y'all. Keeping the faith. If there was no test, amen, there will be no testimony. Okay, period. If there was no test, there would be no testimony. Keep the faith and keep going after what you want. Keep going after your desires no matter what the devil may throw in your way. All right, keep going after it. So even if you stray emotionally, even if you second guess, stand on that solid rock and know that God still loves you. So even if you may feel like God is sleeping on your prayers, or God is pressing snooze on your prayers, or your wants and your desires are unattainable, even if your faith may be tested, even if your faith may waver, it's okay. Just dig deep and refine it and revalidate it in yourself, Refine it. Remember that you are divine. Like, no matter what. So even if an unfortunate situation may come about, even if a situation comes about that tests your faith, remember that you are divine. Remember you are a divine creature. Treat your body as a temple. Still have your divine rituals, okay? Period. Even though you may feel, even though your ex may have just broken up with you, still do your elaborate, like, what's it called? Skincare routine. So yeah, even though you may have just gotten dumped and you felt like you was progressing in love, still do your self-care routine, your skincare. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, stand on that solid rock. You still can't see the full picture, but know where you want to go, and just have faith that God will deliver on his promise of your plans and make it all work out. That's Venus square Jupiter, or at least that's what I'm picking up from that aspect, right? Then we're going to have Venus sextile Mars. And then remember, Mars is in Libra and Venus is sign. And Mars in Libra is also Mars in his detriment, right? So I think this is like finding passion in our desires again and going after what you want, but considering other people's perspective. So I do think that Venus sextile Mars, I love this because whenever Venus contact Mars, I feel like this is kind of like chasing or going after our desires or like what we want, I feel like that's kind of just a more so of an activation of Venusian things. Mars brings Mars always brings forward a sort of like action plan or action of something that we, want to do, right? But it's in a Venusian way. So I do think that Mars and Libra is very aware of the situation at hand. Mars and Libra is very intellectual, almost sometimes to a fault, but it's aware of its like circumstances and its perspective, and it's also aware of other people's opinions, how it looks from the outside looking in, other people's emotions, like what's, just really other people's perspective, like how other people's are perceiving it. And then sometimes that could like halt other people. So I do think that it is good to kind of be aware of, okay, how is this being perceived? Even if you going after this thing, like you may feel low-key like a crazy person, or you may look like a crazy person to other people, because you're like, okay, this is something I've been praying for. I have no idea how this is going to happen. I have no idea how this is going to like pull off, but I'm staying steadfast, right? So you may feel like a little bit crazy, and other people may think you're crazy, but this is doing it anyway. And finding the fun, finding the passion in your desires. This is like having fun along the journey and having fun on the way, having fun as you go. So Virgo new moon, like assessing the details, coming up with the plan, right? But have fun along the way, have fun on the journey, have fun have fun on the journey of reaching that destination. Because once you completed the task, once you got the thing, it's over. You get what I'm saying? Once you receive the blessing, that's kind of it. But that's why God tests us, and gives us challenges along the way. Because once we got it, the story is over. So find that moment to be present and have fun along the way. So yeah, you may experience some inconveniences or some hiccups, but laugh at it, and have fun. Be present, be in the moment. And then we have Moon trine Uranus. So I love this. Usually like a Uranus transit, I'm like, ew, gross, right? But I actually like this on this lunation because I've been talking about faith a lot, and I do feel like a lot of it is faith centered. I feel like this week in general is, I think that's kind of a theme. But Moon trine Uranus, or this new moon trine Uranus, things may come about unexpectedly. You don't know how God is going to whip it up, spin it up, mix it up to make it happen, So things may come about unexpectedly. What may be a bad situation in the moment may end up being a good situation. So you thought you were progressing in love, and your ex dumped you and your feelings, but you still did your elaborate skincare routine, right? For self-love. You didn't go to the McDonald's drive-thru and slurp down that McFlurry. Instead, you did your elaborate skincare routine and listened to this podcast, right? Self-care, self-love. And then you end up a person that you had a crush on in like third grade that you forgot about DM you on Instagram, asked you to take you out on a date to a 5-star restaurant. How'd that go? So what may seem like a bad situation in a moment, or something like horrible in a moment, can end up becoming like something that's completely good, God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen to anybody, like be safe, but you total your car, but that insurance check came through, now you in a G-Wagon. So I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but things may happen unexpectedly. Stuff may come about unexpectedly. So that's why it's important to still have faith even when faith is tested, period. Amen. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say for Thursday in this new moon. I love this new moon. And still, again, pay attention to really what I said for Wednesday leading up to this new moon. Because even though Saturn isn't really playing a part of this new moon, And even though Mercury is pretty far from the degree of the lunation, I still feel like those things are interconnected. And I do feel like, again, if you are paying attention to what you are feeling on Wednesday, it could really help you with Thursday, and help you, choose that new direction to go into. And I do think that this new moon is good for the retrogrades that we are experiencing in general. So let me flip over this card, right? And it says, okay, who's getting booed up this week? Who's finding a boo this week? Like, who is it? Who is it? Like, who's getting their back broken this week? Because all of these cards, like, bless your heart, sweet tooth, sweet as Georgia peach, y'all. The card for today is hotter than blue blaze. Passion, sensuality, chemistry, longing, instant crush. Whose man's is this? Like, who is finding their Mr. Right? Like, I want to know. Like, this week, it seems like so love-centered. I love this week. Be divine. I'm telling y'all, you guys, like, when you step into your divinity, when you treat your body as a temple, when you are ritualistic with your self-care, that shit is sexy. That's sexy than a mofo. Like, it's such a sexy, like, alluring energy. So even you don't have to look like what you've been through. Okay, I feel like this week is going to be good. I feel like we're going to be experiencing a lot of good things this week. But I'm just saying, even if like your faith is tested, or whatever. I don't know how these transits are showing up in your personal life, but you don't have to look like what you've been through. So even if you are going through something, even if you experience something that's like annoying you a little bit, baby, still look good, okay? Still look good. Still have that confidence. Still have that self-care. Rest in that feminine energy, because we got hotter than blue blaze, passion, sensuality, like chemistry, longing, instant crush. Like, oh my God, like this is so steamy. Like, I'm hot. I'm sweating. Oh my God, like who is getting their back broken on this new moon? Because you already know Virgos is some freaks, okay? Let me find out what y'all got going on. Whew. Okay. I'm going to just leave this card where it's at. I ain't going to elaborate on it, but what's going on? What's going on here? It's giving like instant flirtatious crush, true love connection. Like, what is going on? Anyways, let me go on to Friday. Oh my God. Whew. Y'all, tell me your love stories, okay? Please tell me. If you're listening to this on YouTube, leave it in the YouTube comments. If you're just listening to this as an audio podcast, please DM me on Instagram. I want to know what's happening in y'all love life, because whoever these cards are for, baby, like, I want to know what's getting down with the get down. And then last week, too, we had the, what card was that we had last week? That pregnancy card. Like, come on, y'all. I'm intrigued. Anyway, Friday, what we have going on Friday. So Friday, the moon is going to go opposite Neptune. The moon is going to trine Pluto. Then the moon is going to enter Libra. Mercury is also stationing direct on Friday. And we also have the sun trining Uranus again. So I like, Mercury stationing direct, because even though Mercury stationed direct, it's still going to be in shadow, right? But Mercury is in Virgo, so it's always great to have Mercury in Virgo. So I do feel like this is picking up the pieces and moving forward. The problems that may have arisen during Mercury retrograde, you should have solutions for. I also do feel like this Mercury retrograde brought clarity to other retrogrades. It was trining Jupiter. So if you, paid attention and did your due diligence, you should know what this Jupiter retrograde is about in your life. I do feel like whatever happened during Venus retrograde, it's also processing. I feel like we were processing that during Mercury retrograde as well. And with Saturn being retrograde in Pisces, again, if you paid your due diligence during this Mercury retrograde, I do feel like you have the pieces to move forward, or, at least you know what it's about, and you could start thinking of like solutions. So everything may not be full circle yet, but you should know the directions that you want to go, right? So it's about forward movement, picking up the pieces, or just, you should even know how to like tread the water or sit in the wait, or, kind of like wait it out, or what you need to do in order to wait it out. Again, like your action plan. What are you going to do in the moment until everything comes full circle? So some things you just got to give it to God. You just got to let God handle it. But that don't mean sit on a rock and twiddle your thumbs and wait for a miracle to drop out the sky. Like, what are you going to do in the wait? What are you going to do in the moment? So I do feel like that's what this Mercury retrograde is about. And I do think that that's important. So the moon opposing Neptune is, again, even though Mercury is moving direct forward movement, we have the answers, right? But you still don't know everything. You still don't know everything. So find that blend. But I'm kind of laughing because y'all might be like, this bitch is always contradicting herself. But I'm not, though. You got to listen. You got to pay attention. So you have a plan, right? You may have some answers, but you ain't got all the answers. So you don't know everything. Still allow for imagination and still allow for faith moving forward. I also do feel like this is a good day for like being empathetic and understanding. Don't be so critical of yourself. Don't be so critical of others. But yeah, like be empathetic, like be understanding, kind of understand or see the circumstances that they are in, like see the situation. I think this could be for so inwardly and outwardly too. So even may you're like, okay, yeah, I really want to do these things, but I got this and that going on. So I'm gonna have to, Saturn create those structures or handle some business before I could really do what in my heart desire to do, or really do what I want to do. Or even this is like outwardly, maybe like, like your boss is being an asshole and you're just like, why is this mofo tripping? Like, why are they being such a bitch? You get what I'm saying? But then you kind of like consider the situation. You're just like, okay, yeah. I could see, their life is pretty shitty. That's why they acting like that. So, empathy, understanding, empathetic understanding for other people and also for yourself, and rest in that faith. This is also a good day for like some healing as well. So if it's some things that you have to like emotionally process or reconcile after the new moon or after this week. And I also do feel like, okay, this is kind of like a channel message, but I also do feel like sometimes when we can see the way out, or sometimes when we're liberated from something, we see a way out or we see a solution, we will self-sabotage. Because again, like going back to that quality of deserving that I was talking about earlier in the week. This has nothing to do with the transits, but it's just kind of like a channel message. But again, like feeling like, you aren't deserving of something, or you aren't worthy of something, and you kind of want to like self-sabotage or not do it, or just create your own obstacles. Don't do that. So yeah, Neptune, with the moon opposing Neptune, there can be delusions. So watch out for delusions, whether it's delusions in your life, yourself. We should be getting past that. But again, don't be delusional. If somebody do something crazy, don't really make excuses for them. Just kind of handle it for what it is and let it be what it is. So the moon trine Pluto, again, people may start feeling antsy when the moon trine Pluto, but don't slip into survival mode. Kind of rely on that faith. I do think, just don't slip in survival mode on this day. So even if you may start feeling that pressure to do, be, have, pressure to do, pressure to be, pressure to have, no matter how that applies, right? Don't slip into survival mode into getting it, or just kind of let those emotions fester and thrive. And so the moon goes into Libra. So I like this, the moon going into Libra. I feel like this is making it look good, make it look sexy. Package it, put it in a pretty bow. So put it in a pretty package, even if again, moon and Libra going into relationships, creation, dealing with others, but Libra also being an air sign about communication and collaboration. So maybe a part of your plan is working with others or dealing with others, or you need to get into marketing, or you need to come up with some marketing strategy, or you just maybe need to convince, in order for you to have your Saturdays to get your baking business off the ground, you gotta convince your 13-year-old sister to babysit your kids or something, make it look sexy, talk to people, connect with people, but also what are they getting out of it? Give them something to get out of it. And then just make it look sexy, make your plan look sexy. This is have some, the gift of gab, I believe is what they talk it. So make your words sound sweet and sugary. Make yourself sound sweet and sugary. Look sweet and sugary. just be appealing, be appetizing. Then we have the Sun trine Uranus. So this was kind of, picked up on in the new moon, but now this is really going direct on this day, Friday. So again, keep an open mind, allow for things to come about unexpectedly. If something does come about unexpectedly, don't trip, but also don't be fixed. Virgo is mutable and Uranus is unpredictable. So have that plan. Have the plan to be reasonable, and to have an action plan, and to have something to do. So you're just not twiddling your thumbs in the meanwhile. But still be flexible. Don't be too fixed and too dedicated to the plan. Still allow the plan to move and breathe and make corrections, because again, Mercury is still in shadow. Uranus and Neptune being retrograde is practically irrelevant. We don't care about that. But Jupiter and Saturn still are retrograde. So that retrograde may be affecting different people differently, but we're still in shadow with Mercury and Leo. So stuff is still wrapping up. You still are evolving. You still are changing. Everything is not perfect right now. There's still dust that needs to be swept up and thrown away. So still allow for flexibility, and still keep an open mind as you grow and evolve and experiences these changes. And still allow for your greatest good, your highest good to really unfold and manifest, because you're getting there, but you aren't there yet. Life is a ever-changing, evolving journey. So the card that we have for Saturday, for Friday, we're on Friday. The card that we have for Friday is Holler, communication, honesty, courage, sharing, revelation, surprise news, text, phone call. So again, kind of with the Uranus, the surprise news, text, phone call, the revelation. So you may find out some new information that changes things. You may find out some unexpected news. But I also, like I said, I do feel with the moon going to Libra, network, connect with other people, you utilize other people in your life as a resource. Communication is important, being honest, sharing, even if you are talking about people, talk about your plans. If you are trying to get your baking business off the ground and nobody knows that you have a baking business, how people go how are people going to pour into you and network with you and even patronize your business? So I do think Friday is the day. Mercury is stationed in direct. Like pop out. Just be like, hey guys, I'm trying to do this. Hey guys, this is what I'm trying to do. Hey guys, this is my plan. Hey guys, I don't know if you know, but I'll be selling cookies. Like network. I think Friday is a good networking day. But you never know, may come about. And then again, leave room for the unexpected. So Saturday, the major transit that we have for Saturday is the moon conjoining Mars in Libra. And then the moon is also going to sextile Venus and Leo. And I kind of like this because that's bringing me back to the new moon when Venus was sextile Mars. But now the moon is sextile Venus and the moon is conjunct Mars in Libra. So I do feel like this is considering other people's perspective, thinking about things intellectually. And this is also kind of Mars is in Libra, right? Mars is in detriment in Libra. So Mars wants like action. Mars just wants action. It just wants to do like Mars is like, kind of Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, like fuck your feelings. Like those signs really ain't care about like other people's feelings, how they feel. Like Mars just wants to do, Mars again, do, be, have. Mars wants to do, be, and have. But Mars and Libra can't do, be, have. Mars and Libra has to consider how it looks on the outside, how other people feel about it. So I do think that this is, unfortunately, y'all, this is not the time to be like completely selfish and self-centered. This is the time to consider other people's perspective. You got to consider how other people are thinking about you. You got to consider how other people may be perceiving you or perceiving what you're doing. This is the time to work with others. It may be annoying if you are an independent person, but it is necessary. And then again, too, like Mars is kind of like Mars being in detriment is a stipulation on our vitality and also our agency. It's kind of hindering our ability to do, be, have. And again, we have two major planets retrograde, and then we have two planets in shadow. So it's still a lot of like unanswered questions, picking up the pieces, and just general, not chaos, but general confusion that's still like lingering around. So you may need help from other people, and that's okay. But if you need help from other people, like make it look sexy. What's in it for them? Be willing to network, be willing to accommodate. And then again, so going after what you want, right? Sometimes you have to play nice to get what you want. It may be frustrating, but try not to be frustrated. So even if you have to like kiss up to somebody you can't stand, like that boss is really getting on your nerves, like they tweaking right now, but you like, shit, I want to quit this job, but I can't quit this job until this, and that happen. Or I just can't quit this job right now because I have these responsibilities. Sometimes it's better to catch flies with honey instead of vinegar. So maybe you need to like kiss up to the boss or go to your boss's boss and like kiss up, suck up to them, or even create more different allies, other people in a workspace that you could kind of connect with and socialize with and have a team with. I do think that could be important, just networking, having allies and those sorts of things. So on this day, Saturday, you may be motivated to do. You may want to go after your plan. You may feel like you just want to do something, right? But sometimes you gotta play nice to get what you want. So how are you gonna play nice? Don't be so individualistic on this day. Try not to be so independent on this day. Try to consider like networking and working with others. And also, I do feel like this is action-oriented, but more so kind of on the intellectual side. So, again, kind of like talking, networking, creating a business plan, that sort of thing. or what legally do I need to do in order to make this happen? So maybe I can't do the physical thing yet, but maybe I could create the packaging for it, or write a business plan, or research what I need to do legally, or talk to some people, call people, get them on board, make it look sexy. Basically, what maybe you can't do the thing yet, but how you gonna make it look sexy? That's Saturday. The card we have for Saturday is, I actually like this card. I feel like it's fitting. So it says, too big for your britches, arrogance, vanity, self-importance, being high and mighty, modesty needed, but it came out in reverse. So I do feel like people are going to want to feel like, people are going to want to be like feeling themselves and just kind of like do what they want to do. They want to be, do, have, right? So that's where like the self-importance and the high and mighties kind of come, right? But it's in reverse. So modesty is needed. You do got to kind of put your pride to the side, and you got to like work with people and partner and network and connect to make what you want happen. I feel like that's beautiful. Tell a beautiful story. So the card matches with the astrology. So Sunday, it's kind of ghetto. Let's get into it. So I do feel like, okay, we have Venus square Jupiter on Sunday. I like that transit, and I kind of talked about it in the new moon when I was breaking down the new moon, but we're going to talk about it again, right? I do like that transit, but also the moon is going to start doing some things that I don't really like later on in the day. So we're going to have Venus square Jupiter. Then the moon is going to oppose Chiron, oppose the North Node, square Pluto. I don't like that square to Pluto. Then it's going to go into Scorpio. So sometimes I feel like when the moon is like dancing with the Krakens and making aspect to the Krakens, that could just be general emotional unsustainability, especially with it being in an air sign. But then it's going to go Scorpio, so then people are just going to internalize everything. And Scorpio could kind of be that descent into the underworld, so try not to descend into the underworld, but let's wrap this up because we already at an hour. So Sunday, have faith in your desires again and what you want, even though it seems like God may be sleeping. So stay steadfast on your faith and your desires, y'all. No matter what's going on, no matter if it feels unattainable or whatever, like stay steadfast in it. Trust and believe that it could happen. Trust and know that you are divine, that you are divinity, that you are in the walking image of God. It don't matter how you may feel, whatever circumstances may be in your life. That don't mean that you don't have to look like what you've been through. You don't have to look like what you're going through. You still deserve to eat good. You still deserve to look good. You still deserve to treat good. You still deserve to have pleasurable experiences. Even if your pleasurable experience right now may be going to the park and reading a good book. Even if your pleasurable experience right now has to be walking along the river, you get what I'm saying, or like going to a free museum, but you still, even if you may not, even whatever circumstances, whether you feel shitty because of a breakup or your money is funny or whatever the circumstance, there's still ways you could find to treat yourself and honor yourself, and always honor your divinity no matter what. Always honor your divinity. So if your self-esteem feeling low, pick it up and honor yourself and stand in your divinity and honor your divinity and know that you are a divine person created in the image of God. You matter, your desires matter, but you gotta be realistic. But embody that energy no matter what, but you gotta be realistic. So don't feel bad because you can't go and have a $1,500 shopping spree at the mall. That's just not where you at right now, and that's okay. You gotta be realistic with yourself. But that don't mean Oh, there we got it. You know how like the girlies on TikTok be talking about romanticizing their life? Romanticize your life. So can you have a $1,500 shopping spree at the mall? Maybe not. But baby, you better romanticize going to the thrift store. Go to the thrift store in the richest neighborhood around your town, and you never know what you could find. Go there and ball out and act like you Oprah at the thrift store, getting all different types of things. So sometimes we got to be thrifty. Sometimes we may even have to put our pride to the side, or sometimes we may have to bend or flex the situation intellectually. And y'all, when I tell y'all, when I was going through all that stuff and I told y'all that it didn't faze me how it should, this is what I was doing. So that's what I really feel like that transit is about. So I don't care what's going on, how in your feelings, in your experience or whatever. And then I'm making this sound so negative, y'all, but this is really not a negative transit at all, because it's two benefics. So Venus is a good planet. Jupiter is a good planet. Venus is love and desires, and friendships. Jupiter is luck and abundance, you know. So Venus square Jupiter isn't a bad transit at all. And I think what I'm trying to say is that this is a good transit. So recognize the goodness of this transit and go out and have fun and be in the moment and put all that other shit to the side, because that other shit don't matter right now. So what I'm trying to say, even though this may sound like negative, and I'm trying not to make it sound negative, but what I'm trying to say is go out, have fun, look good, be cute, live in the moment. This is a great day. This is a good transit. Experience the goodness of this transit, period. Don't allow the lack, the doubt, the insecurity, the emotional turmoil to ruin this day for you. Go and have fun and have a good day. And I'm just going to end the podcast on that note. I'm not even going to talk about the moon opposing Chiron or, squaring Pluto. Maybe I should, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to. I want to end it right here. Let me flip over this card. Okay. So I am going to talk about it because this card, I'm just talking about this card real quick. But if you want to end it right here on a positive note, I really said all that you needed to say. But I'm going to just read this card because I pulled it, so I'm going to read it. But if you want to end it on a purely positive note, stop right here. I'm warning you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the card that we have here, it says, well, that just deals my pickles. Total contentment. It's a yes. Success. Wishes granted. Mastery. Joy's resolution. But this card came out in the reverse. So again, I feel like you could have all of these things, but do you feel like you can have these things? Do you feel worthy of these things? Do you feel like this is attainable for you? And if you don't, baby, lean into your faith. Lean into your faith. Like, that's really all you have to do. If you don't feel like these things are worthy or attainable to you, please just lean into your faith. And that's it. That's really all I have to say. So, yeah, I was going to talk about the moon opposing Chiron. Again, the moon opposing Chiron can be like, okay, but this is actually going on and I don't deserve that. I don't feel like, no, we're not getting into that. The moon opposing the North Node, that's foreshadowing the lunations that we are going to have and on the Aries Libra axis. So pay attention to that part of life if you would like. I'm not even going to talk about the moon squaring Pluto, but the moon is going to go into Scorpio on Sunday as well, and we'll talk about that more next week. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me on this podcast today. I know this episode was kind of long. If you enjoyed it, please feel free. Please share this with your family and friends. Share this with people if you enjoyed it, and come back. Find me next week, so we'll have more things to go over and talk about. And yeah, I love you guys. Have a beautiful, blessed week, and thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, just go to my website, www.kingsage77.com. All right, I love you guys. Be blessed and thank you.